Hello everyone, welcome to week 2. Now that we have learned the basic fundamentals of XML, like what is XML, what is the difference between XML and HTML, and what does an XML do, this week we are going to focus on XML document structure, like how to write an XML document or how to write an XML code and how to execute it in a web browser. So this week is going to be an exciting week as you are going to code an XML document and you're going to learn how to run an XML document in a browser. So first of all, let's understand what does a document structure consist of. So document structure consists of two types. They mainly consist of a logical structure or a logical and physical structure and a markup and character data. So logical structure refers to the organization of data within an XML document in a hierarchical or tree-like manner, which we are going to see in the next slide. Now, XML document is typically structured as a tree of elements where each element can have a child element and attribute. Now, what does it mean by element and attribute? We are going to see. Okay. So basically, a document structure or the XML is structured in a way that it consists of a logical and physical structure, which again consists of markup and character data. Okay. Now, to talk more about the logical and the physical structure, let's try to understand it with an example. Okay. So as is being stated, logical structure, basically it consists of a tree-like structure. Okay. So it will consist of a root element. Okay. Let's consider an example of a bookstore. Okay. So in a bookstore, we have books, and each book has a title, an author, a year, and a price, right? Now, if we'll look at it as a tree structure, we can say that bookstore is the parent element. Book is the child of the bookstore, and title, author, year, and price, they are the siblings. Okay. So what that means is it is similar to how a tree structure is there in a family. Okay, like grandparents, then parents have kids, and then the children are all siblings, right? So if you have to create an XML document, you have to first identify a parent or a root element. Okay, the parent is also called as a root element. Basically, when a scenario is being provided to you, the nouns in the scenario become your root element or the parent element. Then whatever is inside that parent element or the root element will go next in the hierarchy. So if you'll see, this is kind of a hierarchical structure, right? Now, when you have to write code to represent this information through XML, we make use of certain tags and attributes, okay? So bookstore is the root element, book are the element, and book is the child element, and title, author, year, and price are the siblings. And likewise, you will have book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, and every book will have these elements, title, author, year, and price, right? Now, if you have to, if we have to look at the detailed diagram of this, it would look like this. Okay, now this diagram, I have taken this diagram from the website of W3 Schools. Okay, now in this, if you'll see, bookstore is the root element. Again, the book is the element, and title, author, year, and price are siblings. But there are further more information inside the title. Okay, the title is, let's say, Everyday Italian. Author also have a value which is being written below it. Year has a value as 2005 and price has a value 30.0, right? So every element will have a value inside the child. So whatever is in the child, it will have some value, right? Now, when we have to write the code, what do we need? First of all, we need VS Code, okay? Now, we need an editor. Okay, what does an editor do? Like you need a notebook to write your notes, right? Similarly, we need editors to write our code. The most common editors are Sublime Text, Notepad++, or VS Code. Now, I generally use VS Code for writing Python code, for writing other programming languages code, or let's say HTML, CSS, or JavaScript code. So I use VS Code for writing XML code as well. So what would you need for that? First of all, you will need to install VS Code on your computer. Okay, so if you search on Google and search VS Code download, okay, and herein you get the link here which says download VS Code. Okay, now I already have it installed on my computer, but you get an option of downloading it on Windows. So if you have an operating system of Windows, you click on this link, Linux, the center one, and for Mac, this one. Okay, so depending upon what device you have and what operating system you have, you're going to click on appropriate link. Okay, again, if you have Apple's laptop, your operating system is Mac, okay, iOS. So you are going to use Mac OS. So you're going to install this one. If you have other than Mac, okay, like you have Intel or you have Intel's Lenovo, you have Dell or other laptops, okay, you are going to install Windows. Okay. And if you have Linux operating system, you're going to install this one. So when you click on this one, it leads to the installation link. So for example, I will click on this one, okay, and see it is downloading it here, right? So now when I'll go here, okay, here, okay, in my download folder. So for example, full download history, and you see herein my executable file has been downloaded. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to click it and then it will walk you through the installation. Just click next to install. Okay, now I already have it installed on my computer, so I am not going to install it from here. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to install it again. Now, again, one more thing. If you do not find it over here, another way to find your installation is you open your Explorer, File Explorer, okay, here, and you see, go to your downloads, and you have this over here, okay, and if you'll see, this is an executable file. So double click on it, okay, or just right click and open. What will happen? It will start the download, okay, not the download, but the installation, okay, and it will give you certain commands to click next, install VS Code, okay. Now, after installing VS Code, it is always a good practice to keep your code organized in your laptop, okay? Otherwise, most of the time I've seen it with developer that they code it properly, they execute it, but later when they open it, they do not remember where did they put their code, okay? So it is a good idea to be organized. So what I generally do is I go to my drive, okay? So let's say I'll go to my D drive. I'll go to this folder. Okay, I'll go to SJCC folder. I have created one folder XML and I keep all my programs in this folder. Okay, so all the programs that I'm going to write, I'm going to keep it in this folder, programs. Okay, and that's how I organize my code. Okay, and that's how I organize my programs. Now, what I'm going to do is, so if you'll see here, if I'll go inside, I have few programs already inside here. Okay, so again, how do you create a folder? What did I do? I went to my drive, I went to a folder. So for example, herein, I'll click on new folder. I'll create a folder, let's say XML, right? And in this folder, I am going to create one more folder just for the programs, okay? Because I have notes and other things as well. So I'll just create one folder programs, okay? Now what I will do is, after installation VS Code, you search VS Code, or basically it will be, if you have opted for creating a shortcut on the desktop, it will create a shortcut. Otherwise, you search VS Code and Visual Studio Code will open for you. Okay, so I'm going to open it. And it might take some time. Okay, and the first time you open it, it would look like this, right? It will look like this. So this is how your VS Code would look like. Now what you're going to do is open that folder to write the code. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Open Folder, okay? And I knew where I created in the D drive in this folder XML. Okay, here, XML, programs, select folder, and see it will create a folder for you. Okay, so you will have it like this. Okay, now see, in VS Code, if you want to install anything else, you go to here. This is extensions. And whatever you want to install, you just put it here. Okay. So for example, if I want to install a live server, I will click on the live server. Or I'll just search here. For example, XML. Okay. So everything related to XML, like XML language support, it is over here. I would install it. Okay. So, or I would install XML formatter, which will help me format my XML code. Again, how did I do it? I went to this extensions. I wrote XML over here. And if you hover your mouse over it, you will get a tip about that. Like this publisher has verified ownership of redhat.com, XML language support by Red Hat, right? So I'm going to install it. Okay, just click on install and it will start installing. Okay, now similarly, I would like to install XML formatter or XML format. Okay, either of two, just to format my XML. Well, it is, these things are optional, but it is always good to have these things. Okay, and I'm going to install it as well. Okay. Okay, so once you see that it is this is written over here like uninstall, this means you have installed all the dependencies, like all the requirements that you want it. Okay, so herein I have installed this, I have installed the formatter as well. And now I want to get rid of the screen. So I'll just click over it again and it will go away. Okay, or maybe you can close the screen. So this is my clean and clear VS Code now. Okay, now I'm gonna when you want to see the folders that you are working on, you just click on this one and you will see the folders. Okay, so I was working in the folder program. Okay, if you want to see it again, if you don't see it maybe, so you can go again, file, go to open folders, go to the particular directory wherein you have created that folder and say select folder. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say plus, this is for new file. Okay, new file. So every file that will be generated now, every coding file that will be generated, we go inside this folder programs, right? Okay, so I'm going to say program1.xml. So every code in XML ends with an extension .xml. Okay, so I created one code with XML. Okay, now as I was explaining about the tree structure, which look like this, right? This, or let's say that this is an enlarged picture of what you see here, right? So I want to implement this, wherein I'm saying that I have a bookstore wherein I have multiple books, in which every book has the title, author, year, and price, right? Now, always remember that to create an XML, okay, first thing that you do is you make use of tags. Okay, what do? We make use of tags. What are tags? Tags are something that are enclosed inside the angle bracket. Okay, now every tag that you create has a closing tag as well. So closing tag looks like this. Okay, inside the angle bracket, you have a slash. Now, every code, okay, every XML document, it starts with a with providing a version. Okay, so I'm gonna say XML. Okay, I just click on XML declaration, right? I'll show you again. Okay, so herein, when I wrote this, okay, because I have installed the formatter and XML, so it automatically give me this option. I'll just select it or I'll just hit enter or tab. Okay, so I'll select it and see it gives me a format. So this is the first line which tell me the version is 1.0 and encoding UTF-8. This is how your browser understand that you have written the code in an XML document. Okay, then every element is enclosed inside a tag. Okay, so this is how a tag look like. Now my tag is book shop, okay, bookstore, right? So bookstore. Okay, now as I said, every element is having a closing tag as well. So I have a bookstore and I have a closing tag bookstore. Okay, what does a book has? Bookstore has, a bookstore has 3 books, right? So bookstore has 3 books. Now, if you'll see, I have just written a shortcut. I have used a shortcut. You could have also written it as like this, okay? Book, and then end of book, it will already, it will create it for you, okay? But because I want 3 book, I want to simplify my coding. This is how every developer do. They make use of the IntelliSense or the different facilities that is available in an editor, and that is the beauty of using an editor. Okay, so I will say book times 3 and it will create 3 opening and closing tags for book. Okay, now again, every book has a title, right? Okay, it's not generating it for, okay, so every book has a title, right? And what is the name of first title? So name goes inside the tag. So first title name is Everyday Italian, right? So Everyday Italian. Now again, if you'll see, there is an author of the book, right? The name of the author, let's say this. Okay, and then I have a price, right? So price, let's say 30.00, and I also have a year of the book, right? So year, and year is 2005, right? Now you see how it is being structured. Inside the bookstore, there is a book which has a title, author, year, and price, right? And same thing goes for the second book. So this is my book 1. This is my second book, okay? The second book is, let's say, Harry Potter. Second book name is Harry Potter, right? J.K. Rowling is the author of the book. So I'll say J.K. Rowling, okay? 2005, 29.99. 29.99, okay? This is my second book. Now again, I'll write a third book, okay? So the third book, and I'll name it as Learning XML. So my third book is, let's say, Learning XML, right? And then the author, Eric P. Ray, 2003, 39.95. So 2003 and 39.95, right? So this is how my XML document would look like. Okay, so what does it consist of again? And if you'll see, this is properly structured. Okay, like everything, the books are enclosed inside the book, and all the book elements are put inside the book tag, right? Now, you can also have attributes. Attributes mean the properties of the book, okay? So let's say I have a tag, and whatever you write inside the tag again, other than uh, the element name, would become its attribute. Okay, so let's say this is a cooking book. Okay, so I want to say that this is a cooking book. This falls into the category of cooking book. This falls under the category of children's book, right? And this one, let's say, falls under the category of web. Okay, and that's how it would look like, right? So this is how you write an XML document. Okay, now how to run the XML document. Okay, now, well, herein we just wrote an XML code. We have not done anything else, okay? Basically, how you run an XML document is you open a browser, okay? Any browser that you want. So let's say this browser, okay? I'm going to open a new tab, okay? And, or let's say, okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the folder here. So this is the folder, right? And this is where I have written this program world.xml. And if it does not have any error, you just drag this and put it here. Okay. And you see it has just written whatever we have. It is displaying what we have written in the VS Code. Okay. Now, if you'll see, if you want to understand it better, you can just collapse the books using this arrow, okay? And as you can see, the books are inside the bookstore, okay? But it doesn't, it's not showing anything, or there's no decoration to this document, right? It is just showing a document tree, right? Because that is what we have written over there. So to decorate or to display the page nicely, we make use of cascading style sheets. Okay, so what do? We make use of cascading sheets. Cascading style sheets can be used to style XML documents when they are displayed in a web browser. However, styling XML with CSS is limited compared to styling HTML, as XML itself does not have predefined presentational elements. Instead, you can use CSS to define styles for XML elements based on their tag names, attributes, and other criteria. So what happens basically in HTML, we have some predefined tags like body, HTML, or I have head section, uh, I divide an HTML document using divisions, right? So we have some predefined tag in HTML, but we don't have anything like that in XML. Okay. So if you want to style an element of an XML, for example, I want to style the bookstore, or I want to style this book, you will have to target those elements using the element name. Okay, and let's see how do we do that. Let's focus on that. Okay, let's first create a simple XML element or a simple XML document. Okay, so this is what I have created. Again, you can open and collapse this. Okay, so this one will show you the Explorer. Now I'll create one more program, a simple program to demonstrate CSS. Okay, now as I said, declare the XML declaration, which consists of version and encoding. Okay, and then I will have a tag that says greetings. Okay, or greeting. And I'll just write a message. Hello, XML world. Okay. Now I want to style it. Okay. Now I feel if I will just see if I will execute this, how does it look like? It will look like the same way the bookstore was looking, right? So herein, it would have been created here, right? And I'll just drag and drop it here. Okay, and just see it's just what I wrote in the VS Code, right? Now I want to decorate it because I want it to look good. So what I would do is I'll go back to my VS Code, and herein I create a style sheet. Okay, when you create a style sheet, it means you are providing some directions to your browser that I want this to be displayed in a particular format. Okay, for example, I want to display it using a color. I want to change the font to italics or bold, etc. And for that, you have to link that style sheet to this XML document. So the way we link that style sheet to the XML document, we use CSS. Okay, so we write one more line of code that says XML style sheet. href type is text oblique CSS, and in href you're going to give the name of the document. Okay, so let's say the name of my document is program 2.css. Okay, now you have to create this document. So the way you create this document is you come here, you click on this one, and you write it as program 2.css. Okay, and now you apply the CSS property. Okay, so I want to apply the CSS property to this greeting, right? So the spellings and name should be exactly equal. So I'll copy this. Okay, and I want to apply it to greeting. So I'll first write the name which is to be styled, and then let's say herein I want to display it on one line. I'll say display block. Okay, we're going to learn more about CSS in week 5. Okay, this is just to get you started. Okay, and the font size, I'll choose the font size to be 24 point or 24 pixel. Okay, so you write the property and then its value. So greeting, I want the display to be block. Okay, I want the font size to be 24 points. And if you'll see, the property and the value is separated with a colon. Okay, and again, when you hover your mouse over it, you will get the explanation of what does that particular property do. Okay, then again, font size, font weight, I'll say font weight, and I'll take it as bold. Okay. Okay, and then color, I'll say maybe blue. Okay, and background. Okay, so background color or background, let's say, okay, not background color, say background. Oh, okay, let's say background color. Okay, select. I'm going to take a background color of aquamarine. Okay, and so what I did exactly is I created an XML document and I have associated the style sheet through this line. Okay, and this is my style sheet wherein I have applied style to the greeting. And what does it mean? That the font size should be 24 point, font weight should be bold, color should be blue, background color should be aquamarine. Okay, now let's try to run this. Okay, so again, I'll go to my browser and it is already selected. So I'll just, what I will do is I'll hit enter. Okay, and does not appear to have any style information associated with it. Okay, let's go back again. So what you have to do is you have to always save your code. Okay, looks like I did not save my code. I'm pressing Control S to save my code and this as well. And let's see here. Okay. Okay, and now see, how does it look? Okay, it has changed the background color of the page and my font is now displayed in bold blue color. Okay, and that's what CSS do. Okay, so what we did is we created an HTML, we created an XML document, and we have applied certain style sheet to the document. Okay, we're going to learn more about style sheet later. Okay, but this is just to get you started and to give you an idea that how would it look like. Okay, similarly, if I want to apply a style sheet to my bookstore thingy, okay, my bookstore element, or bookstore document, I will go and open my VS Code. Okay, not this one, this one. And this is where I wrote my code for bookstore, right? So again, first of all, you'll have to create a style sheet. So I will say program1.css, right? And I'm going to create a style sheet and associate the style sheet to this document. Okay, I'll say CSS style sheet association, and herein the name of the program should be correct, right? So my name of the program is program1.css. Okay, now see, so I'm going to apply it to different elements. So first element that I'm going to apply is bookstore. Okay, my bookstore. And then opening curly brace, closing curly brace, I'm going to say display. Again, block to display it on the same line. Okay. Then I'm going to say margin, 20 pixel. Padding is 10 pixel. Okay. So padding means whatever is the container. When you add a content inside a container, a text inside a container, so what will be the distance between that text and the container? Okay, so for example, if I have a box, let's say if okay, so okay, color. So if this is my container, okay, and I'm writing some text here, okay, anything A, B, C. So the distance between the text and this, okay, this is called as padding. Okay. Again, the ideas will get more clear once you'll dig more into CSS. Okay. Now again, background color. And I'm going to take the background color as beige. Okay. And then the second element. So you have to apply CSS element by element wise, right? So bookstore, I applied the whole bookstore will look like this. Okay. So the distance between one book and another book is being provided. And then let's see what is the style for book. So I'm going to put the style for book, title, author. I'm going to come here. I'm going to provide a styling for book element. Okay, so whatever is the book, I'm going to say display block. Okay, then I have margin. Now again, these things you have not learned yet. It will take time to learn these things, okay, which we're going to see later. What is the meaning of this? I'm just showing you how you can apply style sheet. So here I'm going to make use of font size for the title, and font size, I want it more because this is a title. And then font weight, font weight, I'm going to say bold. Okay, color of the title, I'm going to say blue. Okay, so this is to the title. Now the styling to the author. Okay, and again, font style, I'll take the font style. Okay, let's go here. So I'm going to say font style, italic, and color, that is font color. I'll just select blue. Okay, and then, so if you want to apply it to two elements, you just separate it with comma. Okay, and font weight, I'm gonna say font weight, bold, color, I'll keep it as blue. So I kept everything blue. Okay, so I said that to my bookstore, all the elements, this is the style sheet. To the book, margin bottom this, title, font size 18, font weight bold and color blue, etc. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll save it. I'll go to program1.xml, I'll save it. Okay, now I'll go to my browser, and in the browser where I had opened this one, here instead of program2, I'll just write program1.xml. Okay, and see, this is how it looks like now. Okay, so your book name is this. The author, I put it as italic, right? If you'll see here, okay. So now see, let me just show you side by side. Okay, so what did we wrote? We wrote book display block, margin bottom 15 pixel, means the difference between the two books, okay, will be 15 pixel. Now, again, title, font size is 18 pixel, font weight is bold and color is blue, and that is what it is showing. Author, font style is italic and it is showing the author name in italics. Color is again blue, and year and price, font weight bold, color is blue. Okay, so if you change, let's say if I'll change some other color here, okay, I'll change color to red. Okay, and let's save this. Okay, and refresh this. And now see, it has changed to red. Okay, so that's how we create an XML document and we create a cascading style sheet and link it with an XML document. Now, all these details and the tutorials are posted on your Canvas shell, okay, on your Canvas. And it is also there in the book, chapter number 2. Go through it. The tutorial should be enough to understand this, but if you want more information, if you want to dig more into it, refer the books. Let me know if you have any question. Please feel free to join office hours or just email me if you have any questions. This week's deliverables are discussion post, quiz, and an assignment wherein you're going to create an XML document, okay? So again, please practice it and get yourself familiar with the XML document structure. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.